From industry news to mobile technology, leaks, and rumors, we cover tomorrow's tech news today. eSIM Tech News.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios podcast live stream on this Wednesday afternoon, June 18th, 2025. Let me double check my audio real quick. Should be good. 2025. We are good. Okay. So we can do a case giveaway. If you want to let me know, depending on how many people we get in here today, I might do a StreamYard giveaway tool, or I may just hand them out. We'll see how many people have, what devices people have. I have cases, and I'm going to start uploading my Crave case reviews probably tomorrow. And what else do I have? I got S25 Ultra, S24 Ultra, S24 Plus, Pixel 9 Pro XL, Pixel 9 Pro. So we got a number of cases. I was gonna review this interview, and I may have to bump it back to tomorrow. It involves Apple executives, their interview with the Wall Street Journal. It's a really, really good interview, kind of insightful, and I might not have enough time today, but we did get news in regards to the Nothing Phone 3. As we get closer to launch, we're, a week and a half away, 2 weeks away, basically a week and a half from launch, maybe 12 days, something like that, whatever. But we do have news in regards to the Nothing Phone 3. Good news. And I knew this was coming. I thought about it, a month or two ago, and it just kind of slipped my brain. We did get word that the Nothing Phone 3, they're going to bump up their software support. So we all knew that it was just a matter of time until Nothing, supported their software for longer periods of time, should I say. I think right now, with the release, and it's only natural, right, for a company to do that as far as you're growing, especially when you get into the flagship segment. It's really imperative if you really want to compete with other flagships. You look at all the other flagships on the market, they have long support lives. We're talking like 7 years of support. So it was only a matter of time until Nothing made that announcement, and they're progressing, they're growing as a company, so you can hire more developers to specifically support certain devices throughout the life. And with the Nothing Phone 3A and 3A Pro, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they announced that was going to be software support for up to 4 years. Security support for up to 4 years with software updates up to 3 years, I believe. You know what? I hope I'm not. Let me double check let's see. Nothing Phone 3A software support. So the Nothing Phone 3A and 3A Pro were promised to receive 3 years of Android software updates, meaning if it was released, what did it release with? Android 15. So you'll get Android 16, 17, and 18 on the Nothing Phone 3A, and 6 years of security patches. So even when it goes up to Android 18, even though it won't continually get the next version of Android, you will still stay secure because they're going to still release monthly security patches up to 6 years. Pretty good. And they made the announcement today that the Nothing Phone 3 was going to up that when it comes to software support. That the Nothing Phone 3, their upcoming flagship releasing on July the 1st, is going to receive 5 years of software updates. And they didn't say anything about security patches, but if the A series is getting 6 years of security patches, I'm assuming the flagship series, the 3, will get 6 years of security patches. So 5 years of software updates, 6 years of security patches. So it will release, I believe, with Android 16. So you'll get 17, 18, 19, 20, Android 21, and then you'll get an extra year of security, of monthly security patches. So good news there. It was only a matter of time, and that's the real key. As far as that doesn't really get talked about a lot, right? Software support. Apple's bumped up there. Apple's always had long software support, and it took a while for Google to get on board, and it actually took Samsung to up Google, and then people called out Google. How can you have one of your companies that uses your software support their phones longer than you do? And so Google finally bumped it up to what, 7 years, something like that. So it was just a matter of time until nothing finally got on board. And that's why I always dog on Motorola. Motorola never updates their phones. And I think technically they have 3 years of support, but basically you could say 0 years of support, because their software, they don't even hardly do software updates or security patches, monthly security patches. I think they update theirs only for every quarterly. You'll get quarterly updates with Motorola, which doesn't come in handy when there's a notification bug rolling around out here for Android where it'll redirect your links to malicious links. So perfect example of why I don't mess with Motorola, and you shouldn't either, right? So appreciate it, man. Thank you. I like this little feature right here. The showing the chat right here. Damn, where'd it go? Uh-oh. I guess it's for all new users. Oh, nice. There you go. Got the 13R. That's the one you got for $400, right? Yeah, the battery life on that thing is like 2-day battery life, man. Appreciate it, OG. Thank you for stopping by. Semper Buffo. What's going on, man? So with the case giveaway, I'll wait a few more minutes and we will see how many people we get in here. And then maybe like last time, I'll just hand them out, and/or you can send me email, or maybe I'll do the StreamYard giveaway tool, which I haven't used in a while, but we'll definitely check that out. Now, maybe I can roll into a few minutes of this. Maybe we'll do the first half. It's a 20-minute long interview. I don't want to bore you, so I'm going to have to stop at every... Well, it's not boring. I mean, there's actually some really, really good piece of information in regards to Apple and where Siri is at, or where it's not at, should I say. And they give a number of interesting answers. Man, sometimes I wish I was these companies' PR, personal relations or media relations representative, because the answers they give, pretty on par with what I expected. But it took a long time to get to that answer. I had a number of things that I could have included in there that would have gotten straight to the point. But let's see. My services, by the way, are always for hire if you're out there. Let me do this. Let's go ahead and get into some of it. Even if I got to cut this live short, we'll get into some of it, right? So check this out. Let me turn this volume down. So here's this interview right here I'm talking about. Now, I did not have time to... Normally I don't normally review videos. And when I do, y'all all know, what did we do? Was it yesterday or the day before? It was yesterday with the Nothing Phone 3 with Carl Pei. I'll usually download the video, I'll edit it, I'll throw in, I'll cut, paste, edit, do graphics so I don't get flagged. Even though this does fall under the Fair Use Act, I don't even like to get on YouTube's radar. Normally I would download and edit this, but I've been swamped today and I just don't have time. So this will be under the Fair Use Act, and we will review this video and what is said in the video. I have YouTube Premium, so we're gonna, but just not on this. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can pull this up on a premium account. Hang on, because Jesus, I hate these commercials. Let's see here. Let's throw this down. Let me pull up a browser that has premium. Okay, I got it. Now let me throw it over here. Let me open this up. Let me remove this. And then let me share the new screen. There we go. So this will be under the Fair Use Act, okay? Wait, there's no audio? Maybe that'll help.
There. And
okay, so this is, I'm gonna put a link for this video. I do have to give them credit in the video description below. And actually, the Wall Street Journal, their tech correspondent, she's really good. She actually asks all the questions we would ask to Apple. Why'd you do this? Why did you do that? What was the decision behind this? How come you're not releasing this? What happened with the AI? What's going on with Siri? She doesn't beat around the bush. Remember MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, how he got roasted because he interviewed Apple, Tim Cook, maybe about a year ago. And it was the fluff of all fluff interviews. It was like a Apple fanboy interviewing Tim Cook. He didn't ask one question that was like, should I ask this or should I not? It was like, oh no, when's this coming out? Oh, I love this product. Well, what was the idea behind that? There was no, hey, what's going on with Siri? Hey, why'd you screw up on this? Wall Street, this interview, she asked all of that. And I was listening to it this morning. I was like, damn, she's actually grilling, and not grilling them, but she's asking all the questions we would ask. So that's why I was like, damn, this would be a good review. So watch this. We're gonna go through. We'll probably do half of it. Let me turn this music down real quick. Check this out, and then I'm gonna stop it every so often, and we can discuss.
Craig, Jaws, thank you so much for sitting down with me at your big developers conference.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was a big day yesterday.
Huge
day.
Huge.
So I do want to get to what you announced yesterday and some of the big announcements. I want to talk a little bit about last year's WWDC.
Yeah.
Start there. Last year, you announced a smarter AI-driven Siri. Where is she?
yeah, well, back then with Apple Intelligence, I think we spent about 40 minutes on Apple Intelligence and a 100-minute show. Siri was building on Apple Intelligence. We had spent about 8 minutes on Siri there. 4 minutes of those we were able to ship this year, and 4 minutes we didn't. So we were able to deliver a great new Siri UI, new features like typing to Siri. Siri understands disfluency better. Siri understands conversational context better. Siri understands product knowledge better.
See what I'm talking about? All these. She asks, what's the deal with Siri? And he just goes off into this long soliloquy. It takes him like 5 minutes to get to one short answer.
But there were a couple of really significant features that we weren't able to get to.
So
And
the guy on the left is in charge of, I believe, software, and the guy on the right is in charge of all product. He's president of basically products, like what they release, and the guy on the left, the dude with the gray hair, is in charge of software, basically.
We had laid the foundation with Apple Intelligence, with a semantic index, with on-device, really powerful on-device large language models that power a bunch of other features in Apple Intelligence, with breakthrough private compute of intelligence there. And all of those, and a semantic index that we use in lots of features like searching your photos with natural language, which of course we delivered, which all are foundational to new capabilities we want to add to Siri. We had a really two-phase plan, two versions of an architecture to deliver a great Siri. And as we got into the conference, we had V1 working to do the capabilities that we showed off at the conference. So we had some real software we were able to demonstrate there and show what was coming, but it didn't converge in the way, quality-wise, that we needed it to. We had something working, but then as
Now he gets into the real details. A nice, politically correct. You can tell he's searching for, kind of like, sometimes I'm guilty of that too, where I have this big idea that I want to get to, but I'm trying to pick the right words, and he's kind of doing the same thing.
You got off the beaten path, and we know with Siri, it's open-ended what you might ask it to do, and the data that might be on your device that would be used in personal knowledge. And we wanted it to be really, really reliable. And we weren't able to achieve the reliability in the time we thought.
So they're talking about integrating AI in Siri, and actually there's a ginormous class action lawsuit. I think that's why he's trying to tiptoe around, not necessarily around this question, but he's trying to make sure he's very careful with what he says. There is a class action lawsuit against Apple because Apple, in the launch of the iPhone 16 series, touted this new Apple Intelligence with Siri, and they actually had to pull back the AI that's integrated into Siri. From his own words, it was not reliable. He said it was not reliable enough. So let's see if he describes what he means more, why it was not reliable. Because they're promoting it, they're advertising it as a feature on iPhone. This is why they're getting sued, although it's not on iPhones right now. So that's why
get it done by the end of the year and then by the spring. And when we realized in the spring that it just wasn't going to hit the Apple quality level, we had to make the announcement that we were going to move on to V2 of our architecture that really had the legs to get us to the quality that we want for our customers, and that we'd be announcing when it was ready, we'd be announcing it. And so that's where we are today.
But there was a working version of this. This wasn't just vaporware.
Oh, no, of course. No, we were filming real working software with a real large language model, with real semantic search. That's what you saw.
Yeah, and there's this narrative out there that, it was demoware only. No, it was again something we thought, as Craig said, we'd actually ship by later in the year. And look, we don't want to disappoint customers. We never do. But it would have been more disappointing to ship something that didn't hit our quality standard, that had.
And we all know they're in a tough spot, right? Because this is new to Apple. Apple, on the other, and I'm not necessarily defending them. I'm just trying to lay out like what the deal is here. Apple, it's no question they are kind of scratching their head as far as this whole AI thing. Google is light years ahead of Apple. As you know, there's many other companies, AI-specific companies I could name, that are well ahead of Apple. So Apple's trying to get this foundation and try to figure out how to implement AI into their software. Now, that's bringing it back to nothing in the Nothing Phone 3. That's why it's, well, not the main reason, but it's taken 2 years since they've released their last flagship. And what did Carl Pei say when July was rolling around last year? AI, we just feel like we don't have the product ready yet, meaning the product, the hardware, and the software combined. And they've introduced this essential space, and this new Nothing Phone 3 is going to add upon the essential space. I don't use a lot of AI. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I just don't. I mean, on my phone, I don't, right? I do on my laptop, I do on other places, but on my phone, I just don't. I mean, I do, just not a lot. But Apple's in a tough spot, and they want to make sure, to their credit, they want to put something out when it's right, but it does present sort of egg on their face that they tried rolling something out, failed, and they had to pull it back. Now, look, nobody's perfect, no company's perfect. But I believe them to be honest what they're telling us. It's just a bunch of word salad, right? When they could have answered it in
an error rate that we felt was unacceptable. So we made what we thought was the best decision. I'd make it again. So
two parts of this that I want to unpack. I mean, one is that you marketed it, though. You showed this.
And that's why they're being sued.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, again, as Craig said, we thought we were going to deliver it by the end of the year. That was our plan. So in October, we had one round of that Bella Ramsey ad that showed one of the things that we could do with Apple Intelligence. We had a whole series of things, and this was one of them. We expected it, and there you go.
Yeah, I think most of our marketing, really, and I'm not the expert here, but was about Apple Intelligence. And we had, 20 different capabilities of Apple Intelligence. And as I say, like even in what we were saying in the event, you'd swear in retrospect, if I'm to read what people write, that our entire event last year was about Siri. As I said, 4% of the minutes in our event last year were about the parts of Siri that we didn't deliver. The 96 other percent of that event was about other things. And most of Apple Intelligence was about all sorts of powerful capabilities that we shipped. And so, yeah, we've been marketing Apple Intelligence a lot because we think both it's great now and it's a huge foundation for the future. If every time you hear us market Apple Intelligence, you hear in your mind chatbot, which of course we were 100% not thinking and saying that was what we thought Apple Intelligence was or what the future of our platform was, well, then you're going to think this. But that in fact isn't what we were doing. There was a Bella Ramsey ad that was specifically about Siri, but by and large, we've been marketing Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah, again, goes back to integrating it into your software. How do you want to use AI to help users make things easier, make tasks easier? I don't think Apple just struggles with that. I think all companies struggle with that, not just Apple with their AI, not just Nothing with their AI. And I think I need to pull these numbers because I don't think a lot of people use AI on their phones like these big companies thought we were. Sure, we use it to, it's just little stuff, right? There hasn't been a big AI phone breakthrough, meaning like it hasn't really changed the way a lot of us use our devices. It just hasn't. Like, to be quite honest with you, the most I use AI for is for the writing tools. Now that's because the websites and stuff, the content that I put out, but other than that, I don't generate photos. I do, as I mentioned, comes down to writing stuff, just helping expand on ideas, thoughts, sentences, paragraphs, things of that nature. But doing all these sophisticated tasks here and there, I just don't do. And actually the data shows most people don't do either. So it's kind of like at a crossroads, not a crossroads, but it's like, where do we go with this? So on that front, I kind of am, I see what they're saying. I'm kind of with them because the numbers are there. People just aren't using a lot of it on their device.
Over 20 features that we did deliver. So we delivered almost everything that we promised. That was something we didn't, again, and Craig explained why.
It's great that you set this high bar. But you're also Apple. I mean, you've got more engineers, more cash than most companies, maybe any company. Why couldn't you make it work?
I mean, this is new tech.
Now, here's a good question. Why? Why did you fail? And listen to their answers, and we'll jump in here in a second.
Technology. I think when it comes to automating capabilities on device,
Jesus Christ, hang on.
In a reliable way, no one's doing it really well right now. And we wanted to be the first. We wanted to do it best. And like I say, we had very promising early results in working initial versions, but not to the level that as we began living on it internally and feeling we're like, this just doesn't work reliably enough to be an Apple product. So this stuff takes hard work, but we do see AI as a long-term transformational wave, as one that's going to affect our industry and of course our society for decades to come. We want to get it right. There's no need to rush out with the wrong features and the wrong product just to be first. We ultimately want to build the right products for our customers.
So many people associate Apple and AI with Siri since plus 10 years.
I was a little distracted, but you get the point.
Now.
Sure.
And so there is a real expectation that Siri should be as good, if not better, than the competition.
Well, I think ultimately it should be. That's. But
it's not right now.
That's certainly our mission. Yeah, but that's our mission. We set out to tell people last year where we were going. I think people were. Now,
remember, they purchased and or made a deal with OpenAI and ChatGPT. So, and it wasn't just a little deal. We're talking, I think it was $20 billion, or was that, let's find out. I don't want to bring any false information. Apple with OpenAI. Apple has integrated OpenAI's ChatGPT into its operating system to enhance Siri and writing tools, offering users access to advanced AI capabilities within Apple's ecosystem. This partnership allows Apple users to leverage ChatGPT functionalities, including image and document understanding, directly within Apple's native apps and features. While users can access ChatGPT for free, what does it say? For free, subscribers to ChatGPT Plus can connect their accounts for additional features. But how much was the deal for? It may not have been announced, the actual dollar amount, but we are talking in the billions. So that's the thing too. If you're an executive at Apple, it's like, why did we invest billions of dollars in OpenAI just to have egg on our face? Like, this was not properly thought out, set up, executed from the start, because you would not have something, you would not promote something so much, actually push it out on a new product, pull it back, still advertise it, and then get hit with a class action lawsuit. So somewhere in between that sequence of events, they got something majorly wrong, right? So for them not to be able to, and again, they have more resources than any other company in the world. So for them, that's why it's kind of a big deal. And I get it, nobody's perfect, but Jesus, you have no excuses basically. You, again, all resources, any option is available on the table, and you still mess this up. So that's why the interviewer is kind of hammering this question. It's like, so what the hell went wrong when you have everything at your fingertips?
Very excited about Apple's values there, an experience that's integrated into everything you do, not a bolt-on chatbot on the side, something that is personal, something that is private. We started building some of those and delivering some of those capabilities. We do wonderful semantic photo search right now. We do all kinds of tools that are directly integrated into how you use your device. I think people are excited for that future. And I, in a way, appreciate the fact that people really wanted the next version of Siri, and we really want to deliver it for them, but we want to do it the right way.
When's the right way going to come along?
Well, in this case, we really want to make sure that we have it very much in hand before we start talking about dates for obvious reasons.
And will that include these features that you had previously announced and more? I mean, is this the effort to make Siri this more interactive AI companion?
Sure. Well, I mean, look, on the one hand, I would love to dish about my enthusiasm for our future plans, but that's exactly what we don't want to do right now, right? To
Makes sense.
Misset expectations. We want to deliver something great that you and all of our customers really appreciate.
You have mentioned Apple Intelligence a lot, and to be honest, I'm not really a big user of Apple Intelligence. I'm using a lot of your competitors' products. Can you or will you?
Damn. She says, I don't even use your products, or I don't even use your services. I use, she didn't name them, but what are they out there? Perplexity, Google Gemini, Claude. There's a number of AI, DeepSeek, ooh, big bad DeepSeek, Chinese DeepSeek. People are using them because they are just flat out better. And see, you would not get these questions from a lot of different interviewers. A lot of interviewers are just going to kiss their ass because they want to be invited back again, right? Well, Wall Street Journal is a big enough publication, a big enough media company that they have a huge following. And this woman right here, the interviewer, she's been in the tech industry for a long time. So they have the clout to where they can ask the tough questions, right? Now, maybe deep down inside, they wanted to be asked the tough questions because these answers needed to be out there. But I think she did a very good job, and I'm glad she kind of threw that jab in there.
Keep up with that competition?
Well, again, it's important to realize our strategy is a little bit different than some other people's, right? Our idea of Apple Intelligence is using generative AI to be an enabling technology for features across our operating system. So much so that sometimes you're doing things you don't even realize you're using Apple Intelligence or AI to do them. And that's our goal. Integrate it, make your products that you use every day, make the features you use every day better. Not even have to think about, there's no destination, there's no app called Apple Intelligence, which is different than a chatbot, which is again what I think some people have kind of conflated it a bit, like where's your chatbot? We didn't do that. What we decided was that we would give you access to one through ChatGPT because we think that was the best one. But our idea is to integrate across the operating system, make it features that I certainly use every day.
And I think AI is one of those massive technological waves, like the internet, like mobility. When you look at the internet, I don't think anyone was saying, gosh, Apple, I find myself using Amazon.com and I'm not using, I use that a lot. Why don't you have one of those? I find this web search thing really useful. I'm enjoying, streaming cat videos. I find this useful. Why is this not in your?
Now you see Apple, or the spokesperson for Apple at the moment, basically on their back foot, right? Basically saying, gee, why can't Apple have each and every service out there that's on the internet, right? Which is, I get that point, but did that point really need to be stated, right? Do we really need to know this? I mean, it's kind of like a duh,
Product. Well, of course, the internet was vast. It was opportunity for many, many companies, for users to do a wide diversity of things. It was also a huge enabler for Apple, and I think Apple made the internet accessible in a lot of ways, more than anyone, and it was super empowering for our customers and for our products. But that didn't mean that every experience that you might take on necessarily is going to happen inside of Apple, or ultimately happen with Siri. There are going to be places where hopefully Siri is a huge and maybe ultimately indispensable part of your daily routine. But that doesn't mean it's a problem if you're using something else for other tasks you want to do.
I do want to get into iOS 26 and some of the new operating systems, but staying on AI for a second, you do have some more of OpenAI and ChatGPT threaded through, it's specifically in visual intelligence. When are you guys thinking about using your models versus another company's models like OpenAI's?
Egg, grocery, and gas prices are going up, but getting an exam and x-ray...
This should be a... You gotta be kidding me. I thought this
The
was
dentist? That's now free for new Aspen Dental.
I thought this was a premium account.
Hey, when you use writing tools and say you want to make something more concise,
So she's asking...
put it in a bulleted list, create a table. And it was super empowering for our customers and for our products. But that didn't mean that every experience that you might take on necessarily is going to happen inside of Apple, or ultimately happen with Siri. There are going to be places where hopefully Siri is a huge and maybe ultimately indispensable part of your daily routine. But that doesn't mean it's a problem if you're using something else for other tasks you want to do.
I do want to get into iOS 26 and some of the new operating systems, but staying on AI for a second, you do have some more of OpenAI and ChatGPT thread.
Does double click to she was talking about, I do want to talk about iOS 26. Woo, those smiles went super high. And then she said, but I want to talk about AI for a second. They went, watch this.
Through.
Can I reverse it?
It's specific.
Damn it. I hate using YouTube on... Watch this.
ChatGPT threaded through. It's specifically in visual intelligence. When are you guys thinking about using your models versus another company's models like OpenAI's?
Well, we do already. So today, when you use writing tools and say you want to make something concise, put it in a bulleted list, create a table, or even give an ad hoc command on how you want to modify something into being, haiku or something like that, that's all using Apple's models in private cloud compute. And so we're using our models for more and more. We use them for some of our visual intelligence experiences as well. But ChatGPT offers some really great capabilities. And so we have integrated more and done some really powerful things with them. As you point out, they're available in visual intelligence, which is now available not just for things around you with your camera, but also things on your screen. But we also integrate lots of other tools into that flow. We also make ChatGPT's image generation capability available both inside of Image Playground, but also since you can pull up that image generation capability inside of all sorts of apps, Apple apps and third-party apps, you also now have access to ChatGPT's image generation right there in the flow of using those apps. So, and we announced some really exciting coding tools actually in Xcode that got huge reaction from our developers yesterday, where you can use ChatGPT as well as other models like from Anthropic to do coding in Xcode, which is fantastic. So we will keep building up the capability of our own models, but we see lots of people doing other exciting things with theirs, and we want to make sure our customers can access the best of everything.
Looking ahead, does Apple want to be the company making some of these models? Would you like to have that capability, some of the capabilities that OpenAI has in their models or Anthropic, central to Apple, living in Apple's models?
Oh, I mean, we already are. In fact, we published a paper again this year describing our latest releases of both on-device models and our private cloud compute model.
He's doing most of the talking because he's in charge of the software side. Again, the guy on the right is more hardware, president of hardware, whatever. So the guy on the left should be talking. But the guy on the right looks like he's definitely not interested.
Both have undergone significant architectural and enhancements. Our PCC, private cloud compute model, is much larger and more powerful and is GPT 4.0 class in many regards. So this is something absolutely that's what we've been doing.
Okay.
But our goal again is not to create another chatbot. Right, it's to integrate these capabilities across our operating system and our features.
But that powerful intelligence behind those capabilities.
Exactly.
Let's
just
talk
said
about
that.
liquid glass.
See what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yay.
You guys really like
it's
glass.
It's a nice material.
Why do you love glass so much?
Well, I think
We'll do a
the
giveaway here in a
glass,
second. Let me get a
we
couple
could have gone
pieces.
with, ancient brick or teak wood or something as a material, but it turns out glass has some really useful properties when it comes to user interfaces, and especially the kind of adaptive glass we were able to build into the product. What we really wanted is, as our displays have gotten both larger, but also with these rounded edges, we wanted to make your content feel open, like it owned the entire screen edge to edge. Glass allows us to put controls inset concentric to that experience that on the one hand feel almost like they're not there, like your content just owns the screen, which is wonderful, but at the same time define space in a way that, I know what the buttons are, the controls are extremely clear. Glass also is wonderfully adaptive. It both can transmit through translucency, the background, but we can adapt its properties so that you get contrast to be able to see the content of both what's behind it and what you're trying to read. And so glass has these wonderful properties.
All right, so we may finish that tomorrow, maybe not. I honestly don't really like talking about Apple. I just thought the first part of that interview, as far as where Apple Intelligence has gone wrong and how they plan on integrating it back into iOS, was a pretty interesting discussion. You don't normally hear that type of banter not necessarily back and forth, but she does answer the questions we all want to know. So the interview continues with a bunch of answers, basically touting their new iOS 26 Apple, what do they call it, liquid glass, what I've been calling it liquid ass, but it takes a lot of features that Android has already had, including a new call feature, call screening, that the Google Pixel first introduced years ago. So they will trying to integrate some new features and make iPhones exciting again, or iOS exciting again. So take that off, and I'm going to link the interview from the Wall Street Journal down below in the description box as soon as this video is done, so you can finish the interview if you want to. That was courtesy of the Wall Street Journal's YouTube channel. It's pretty interesting. I subscribe to it, and I definitely encourage you to do it as well. The interviewer did a really good job, in my opinion. There's a bunch of fluff when it comes to people at the company talking about the company, so we will get out of there. But let's see, cases. What do y'all got? What phones do y'all have? Let me know, and I'll let you know if I have cases for those devices. If you're watching, if you want a free case, I know last week I did a case giveaway where I mailed out some cases. I have cases for And I'm been recording these Crave case reviews. I have Crave cases, really, really nice dual layer cases, very protective for the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I also have Crave cases for the Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro. And I also have Crave cases for the S25 Ultra. All of those out there that have the S25 Ultra got Crave case. And I'll upload those case reviews from Crave probably starting tomorrow. Does anybody have an S25 Edge, perhaps? S25 Edge. Also have S25 Ultra from Nilkin as well. Let's see, S24 Plus. So let me know what you got and I can get them out to you. So let's see, email me. Let me do this. You got S25 Ultra, you want another one? What phone is that? Let me do this, and then we'll get out of here on this. Let me give you some info real quick. All right. Emails on the bottom there. So simply send me an email. If you want a case, be my guest. Again, the Crave case reviews will be I'm going to upload these case reviews starting tomorrow. But if you got the S25 Ultra, got Nilkin, S25 Ultra, Crave, S25 Edge, S24 Plus, S24 Ultra. So let me know what you got, and I got you. Now, let me scan. Let me see. There was one other thing. Let's see here. So it appears there is a bunch of, it looks like Google and also some other carriers have a lot of good deals on Pixel 9 series. They're trying to get rid of stock for the upcoming release of the Pixel 10 series. So I've seen a bunch of good deals online when it comes to the Pixel 9 series. So for example, you can go to Google Fi. They have a promo. They're giving away a Pixel 9 or a Pixel 9a for free at Google Fi. And then I believe T-Mobile's trying to get rid of all of theirs at a decent price. And then also at the Google store, you get up to $335 off for the Pixel 9 series. And also Best Buy has them on sale as well. So if you are looking to upgrade your device, it's Pixel 9 Pro XL. Probably, man, it's right up there as one of my favorite devices of all time. Use it every day. This thing is freaking awesome. So definitely cannot go wrong with that Pixel 9 series. Definitely looking forward to the Pixel 10, and more than likely be either trading this in or giving this to my daughter, but we'll certainly miss it. But I am looking forward to the 10 series. Sweet. You got the Edge? See that? See the email down below? Hit me up and I'll throw in a case. I'll get you a case. I think, is that the... It's a Spigen. I'm trying to look for the other one. I don't know where it's at. Shoot me an email and I'll see. What else do we got here? We went over the nothing news. Oh, did you see this? There's a company that's trying to revive BlackBerry. Yes, BlackBerry. The company that's been trying, what company tried to, somebody bought the rights to BlackBerry, just the devices, the hardware and the name, tried to bring them back to life. They were going to throw in, or they did throw Android on it. I think that was 5-6 years ago. Obviously that sunk, you know, just a handful of people purchased that. But BlackBerry is trying to make a comeback. What they're doing is they're bringing back a BlackBerry device. It's going to have a MediaTek CPU. It's going to have 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, 50 megapixel rear sensor, and 8 megapixel front sensor. Will have USB Type-C, but I don't see this going anywhere. I don't know why a company would invest a penny in BlackBerry trying to revive BlackBerry. That thing is dead. It's been dead for quite a while, for 10 years. It's not coming back. Now, they are going to have a classic BlackBerry look and feel and design with a physical keyboard, but using the Android operating system. But it's not going to go anywhere. But I just wanted to let you know. I saw that headline and I was like, I don't know why these people are just throwing away money. And that looks like it's about it. Oh, last thing before we get out of here. So everybody that's looking into getting a Meta, what do they call it? Meta, what's their VR? Is it the Meta Lens? Anyways, there's a Meta version. I'm talking about the glasses. The glasses. There's also the Apple Vision Pro, obviously, which has its own set of issues we're not going to get into. But the very best one that I think that will succeed, have the best sales, have the best customer feedback, have the best usability, is going to release in October. So Samsung and Google teamed up to bring you this product. It will be officially a Samsung product, but Google has very, very heavily invested time and resources and money into bringing this to the market. So Samsung's first XR headset is going to release in October. And it's the project, what do they call it? Muhan or Wuhan? So watch this. We were waiting, they teased it during the launch of the Samsung Galaxy S25 series, but they said we don't, we'll announce further at a further date when we're going to release it. And what do you know? We got a release date. So let me pull this up here. Check this out. Let me get this stupid ad off of here. So Samsung's Android XR headset may be ready for launch sooner than you think. Project Muhan. Now, we don't have an official name, but if you want to do your own research, this is better than Apple Vision Pro. This is better than Meta Lens, I think. Now, let me tell you why. This is a custom product and a partnership between three enormous companies. So these three companies worked hand in hand, had their own teams designed and built just for this project at these three separate companies. So you got Samsung, which is a behemoth in the electronics world. You have Google, which operates the world's most used operating system, Android. And then you have Qualcomm, which is a phenomenal chipset semiconductor designer. You had all three of these companies working on just this one product. Now, I can tell you why it's going to be out better than Apple Vision Pro. For one thing, it's lightweight. And what's the number one thing about complaint about Apple Vision Pro minus the price is it's so heavy. After you wear the Apple Vision Pro, your neck starts to hurt. This is going to be less than half the weight. Less than half the weight that the Apple Vision Pro is. Number two, it's going to cost less. So not only does it weigh half the weight of the Apple Vision Pro, it's going to be about half the price of the Apple Vision Pro. I say about because we don't have a specific price, but it's going to be about half, right? So the Apple Vision Pro starts at what, is it $3,500? This one's going to cost, I think, right around $2,000, right? $1,800, $2,000, which is considerably less. And it's more expensive than the Meta, I don't even know what they're called. I'm just calling it a Meta lens. Maybe it's something else, whatever, I don't know. But here's how it's going to be better than the Meta lens, even though it's going to be a little more expensive than the Meta lens. This is going to run the complete Android Play Store application list. So you're talking over 2 million apps will be usable on this headset. Now, the Apple Vision Pro only has, I think, 30-something apps you can use, and the developers are not. I repeat, the developers for the Apple Vision Pro are not enthusiastic and or currently working on a lot of products for the Apple Vision Pro. There's a big rift between Apple and developers. Namely, for one, Apple takes the most money out of the developers' pockets. Whenever they get revenue from these app sales or in-app purchases, Apple takes, I think, damn near half of the revenue. And there's a big fight between Apple and the developers. Google, they do obviously take some revenue, but it's not nearly as much as Apple does. So the developers for the Apple Vision Pro are not really sitting back and developing a bunch of cool apps. It's been mostly Apple, mostly system apps that you see come to the table when it comes to the Apple Vision Pro. That's not the case with this new Samsung XR headset, because you don't have to make there's not any, well, I'll take it back. With the Apple Vision Pro, you have to work with a new set of code, meaning it's a whole new set of code you got to work with and develop from scratch. With this new Android XR headset, as I mentioned before, it uses the same code as any other Android application, and that's why all of the apps that's on the Android App Store will work on this headset. Your favorite game, your favorite application, your favorite radar app, Google Maps, your favorite news application, YouTube, everything will be in and on this headset, or accessible on this headset, right? So that's just that fact alone is going to blow away and be the Apple Vision Pro and the Meta lens as well. Let's see, it's going to be released in South Korea October 13th. Now, global availability says will come later, so technically, look, if you want one, if you really, really, really want one, it's going to be released in South Korea October 13th. I guarantee you on October 13th, they'll be on eBay. So you can grab one for sale. Now, sure, it's going to be, a little more expensive on eBay, but it is what it is. They are going to sell these in the United States, so there will be availability. I'm guessing right before the holidays, probably a month after October 13th, right around November. So this will be a really good Christmas present, and I can guarantee you it's going to be better than the Apple Vision Pro. This runs a custom Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2 chipset. Now, we don't have other specs. One of the good things about the Apple Vision Pro is the Retina display. It's got like a true 4K display in here. Well, guess what? This one does too. And guess what? Samsung makes it. Samsung actually makes the Retina display for the Apple Vision Pro. So you're getting all the stuff that Apple touts for their Vision Pro. This should certainly have a competing feature. Battery life too, I've heard, lasts longer, although I believe you got to plug this in, no? Let's see, they're going to, next month with the release of the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Z Flip 7, they are going to tease this, right? So it was also announced the Fold 7 and Flip 7 are going to be released next month, I believe on the 9th, July 9th. And trust me, Samsung is going to tease the hell out of this because this is their next big launch. And you'll see commercials for it, right? Football season's rolling around. Google marketing team and department has been real big with marketing Android and/or Google products during football games. So you're going to see this probably here in the next few weeks. They're going to start. You'll see it on the Unpacked event for Samsung Galaxy foldables. They're gonna tout this thing like crazy, tease us, and then you'll see a big marketing campaign for this. So, and I'm going to cover it. I doubt I'm going to get it, honestly. It's expensive as hell. Still, $2,000 is still expensive. Plus, I got to, getting these phones. So, never say never, but it looks really freaking cool. So, stay tuned to eSIM Studios. Even though if we don't get it, I'm still going to cover the release, all these specs once we get a full spec sheet. And we'll cover sales and all sorts of good stuff that go along with this device. So, stay tuned for more Samsung XR headset news, reviews, and information. All right, I appreciate the time. What's going on, brother? Cool. You see the email down below scrolling across the bottom? Let me know what device you have, and if I got a case for you, I'll send it out. All right, guys, appreciate the time. Shoot me an email. We'll see what cases I got to match, and I'll send one out for you for free. Appreciate the time. See y'all tomorrow.